Okay guys, welcome. And this is Investor Ben. Yeah. So regarding today's section, I'll be explaining liquidity, basics of like the basics, yeah, and price liquidity. So like you all know, liquidity in a layman's form, liquidity is money, right? Yeah. And we need liquidity to move price to certain directions in the market. Liquidity is very vital to move price from one point to another, right? The reason for volatility and all. So now, making this video a quick one. So explaining liquidity. So like I've said, liquidity in a layman's form is money. And for the market to move, we need liquids. The market needs to be in a liquid form, fluid. Liquidity needs to be present, right? Liquidity. Let me keep it as price liquidity. Okay, price liquidity. So now the two types of liquidity I'll be explaining in here. This is a basic course, yeah. So it will be the equal highs and equal lows. The equal highs and lows, right? Yeah. Equal highs and lows liquidity, right? Sorry, equal highs and lows liquidity, enter. Then the trend line liquidity, trend line liquidity, trend line liquidity. So these are the two I'll be taking here: equal highs and lows liquidity and trend line liquidity. Right. So with that being said, let's get started. So now when you hear of equal highs and lows, just like the name says, equal highs and lows, right? You should know that it has to do with something that when you see price forming equal highs like this, equal highs, liquidity is lying here. Let's make this little. Liquidity is lying at this point in the market. Liquidity is lying at this point, right? Equal highs or equal lows. Equal highs or equal lows, right? So when you see this point in the market where price makes something like this, yeah, this is a double bottom. But I'm not looking at the chart pattern aspect of anything here, right? Yeah. With this being said, this is your equal low here. So now at this point in the market, right, liquidity is present here. People's stops are there, right? You see liquidity where stop losses orders are, where buy and sell stops are, right? Yeah, that is where liquidity is present. Buy and sell stops where they are. So that is where you see liquidity present in the market. Center, bottom, right here. So liquidity is present here, and liquidity is present at this point also. Liquidity. The dollar sign we use to represent liquidity. So like this now, and you can see them in several forms. These are the, should I say, the basic form I just give you, right? Yeah, and let me give you some complicated forms, but still in basic, right? Where you see price forming some something like this. Let me make it all the same, right? They can vary. It mustn't be two, like how these ones are. The point is that they are equal heights, right? So people stops are all here. You see these points in the market. People stop losses are all here. And it is where the stops are that the money is, right? What the whales does is to take out the stop, pack a whole lot of money, and move the market to their preferred direction, right? Yeah, and same goes for this one. Same goes for this one. Equal highs and lows. Equal highs and lows. Equal highs and lows, right? Yeah. all these stuffs, liquidity is actually lying at this point in the market. Equal, okay, this should be trend line liquid, but let's leave that. Equal highs and lows. Liquidity is present at this point in price, right? So you have to be very, very mindful when trading the financial market, because if you trade against liquidity, a very higher probability, sorry, higher chances of being taken out in the markets. Yeah, that is rest assured. Several chances of being kicked out of the market if you try to trade against price liquidity levels, right? Now, this is me explaining equal highs and lows liquidity. Now we have what we call the trend line liquidity. Trend line liquidity. Let's use this as example. Even in your chart pattern, let's use this as example, but I won't be drawing any chart pattern here. Let's use this as example, okay? So trend line liquidity here, sorry. Okay, equal highs and lows. Let me get this cloned. Equal highs and lows. How do I market that? Would that be nice color for it? Okay, let's see. Equal highs and lows. Okay, let me use this color. This is what I just demonstrated here. Price equal highs and equal lows, right? These are the two examples I'll be working with. These two are the two examples I'll be working with, right? Yeah, so they are the two examples I'll be working with. So now I just made an example of some equal highs and lows this thing, price liquidity level, right? So let me get this, below. So I could use the other side to explain trend line liquidity. Trend line liquidity. Right here. So this is it for equal highs and lows. Then coming to trend line liquidity. Trend line liquidity, right? So let's see. Let's see what we have here. So yeah, let's change the color to the same color with that. Was that this color or something like that? So I'm leaving it this way. So trend line liquidity, coming to trend line liquidity, you have when price makes something like, let's forget about the color. Okay, trend line liquidity. Let me use the chart pattern formation as example, right? A chart pattern forms like this, creating minor. If you saw the video on support and resistance, right? That was the very first video I made on the Crypto Digest Telegram channel. If you haven't seen that and you're having problem with support and resistance, that is actually a simple topic that I break down there. So you could see the first video there. So right now, this is trend line liquidity. Let me see price coming from here. Okay, creating minor support and resistance level in between those levels, right? So now, as price is doing something like this, these are liquidity levels lying down in price. Like, do you see these two things here? See these two things here? Okay. You see these lines here and the other one here? Yeah, liquidity is lying there and price takes our liquidity, right? We need liquidity to move the market. So now you don't trade against those levels, right? But there is a way you can trade them to make money off them. Like, if you understand the concept of chart pattern, you should know that when this kind of thing form, this is a bearish flag, right? All you have to do is to wait for price to give you the third touch. It doesn't range to this extent. Price just give you like three or some touches, like Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and the price breaks down, something like this right here. So if you understand chart pattern, and now okay, when price breaks down, price is actually clearing one side liquidity, right? Yeah, price is actually clearing the liquidity at this side, right? Price can equally come back here. Maybe may not. Okay, let's do something in first. Let's do something here now. Let's do something here. When you have this kind of thing, price is likely to take out the first liquidity. Remember, I marked the top as a liquidity level in the chart. This top here as a liquidity level in the chart, this top, and the other bottom as another liquidity level in the chart, right here. So now, if you want to trade this kind of thing, you don't try to force it. Don't force anything. Allow it to happen, then you react. Like, let price give you a brief direction of what is going to happen. I mean, if you're trying to use smart money concept to trade this, Falcon traders know that they will put their entry below and their stop loss a bit above this thing, right? Maybe target the ratio between this and that. Where is that meter rule? Okay, it's not here. Target the distance between this and that together with this, set their TP, maybe somewhere here. But I'm not talking of that, right? So trying to trade this thing, you wait for price to give a fake out, right? Maybe at the top or bottom. Now, if it's at the top, you have something like this. Price fake out, right? At the top, you have something like this. And what did price just did? Price cleared the liquidity at this point. Price cleared the liquidity at this point. Now here becomes a liquidity sweep, right? A liquidity sweep. I will use LQS to mark that a liquidity sweep here becomes a price liquidity sweep, right? A liquidity sweep meaning that price swept liquidity, and here becomes a stop once. Oh my God, not using premium. Here is the stop once, right? Okay, this, you see this thing, the one what swept the liquidity, right? That will be your POI to sell down, right? You are waiting for a confirmation trade. This will be your POI, and this is a stop once. We are in the institutions push manipulate price to clear out liquidity of retail stops at this point. Then price will come back and mitigate from this point before selling down, right? Yeah, before selling down. And in the process, you are giving a change of character. If you look at things clearly, you see that this was actually a break of high and low, right? Yeah, so in the process, price give you a change of character. So let's make this more interesting here. So something like this, right? Yeah, so price first of all faked out at this point, clearing retail stop, then broke down, took out all other people that their stops are here waiting too long, right? Now price will retest back, mitigate this first one, then start selling at the bottom. Yeah, remember to put your take profit at a realistic price target, right? Yeah, that is like me explaining this one. And we have some other trend line liquidity price takeouts, something like this also. I'll make this small, something like this. Okay, interesting. Something like this. At first, what did you have here? You had your, this is a supply zone, remember? This is a supply zone. This is a price supply zone, right? And what actually happened here? Let's say price was actually at this point, right? What happened at this point is this price created the first low. This is a low, right? Then price retraced to the upside, created a lower low. This is a low, no other low, created a lower low, right? Price created a lower low at this point, a lower low at this point, a lower low at this point, right? And now as price is creating all these lows, remember, there is something we have to do at the top. price created this low. This will be your BMS or BOS, BMS or BOS, anyone you want to use, right? Yeah, so that will be your BMS. Now there are equal highs lying here, equal highs. Remember, they can be of different shapes. They mustn't be very should I say, and they mustn't be having a nice shape, right? It can come at an irregular shape pattern. So you just have to react when you see all of these things. Trying to keep a good screen time. Don't kill your eyes. Yeah, you can actually backtest and see how all these things are. That is your liquidity level, right? Price liquidity. Dollar sign replacing the liquidity. Dollar sign. Yeah. Then dollar sign replacing the liquidity. Now, what price does next is this. Let me bring all these things out, right? Price has broken structure. Price will go back to these very points, clearing all the liquidity at this point, right? Price will take all of them out. Remember, as price is clearing liquidity, is clearing it to sell to the downside after packing people stops at this side. This equal highs, stop orders are there, sell stop, right? Yeah, so price clears everything and sells down, right? Yeah, this is how it is. Price clears everything and sells down. Here is your supply zone. Here is your import. Okay, this is your retracement to the upside to sell. If your retracement, right? Then price mitigated the supply zone POI, then sold to the downside, right? Yeah, so then sold to the downside, impulsively. Yeah, so these are the things, the two trend line, the two liquidity types I'll be explaining: equal highs and low trend line liquidity. Trend line liquidity can come at any form, right? We have one here example, and we have another one. We have price creates double liquidity level, more of like a liquidity engineering, right? Yeah, so yeah, I am investor Ben. So let's look at our charts. Trust me, if you look at your chart, you don't expect to see anything as beautiful as this, but you will see just as I have said, right? And you see more than, yeah. So let's look at our charts. What we have here. What we have here. Okay, do this thing warrant me to go to higher time frame or not? Does it? Let's look at our charts, right? Yeah. So this is a cool example. This is a cool example at this point. Not that obvious, but this is a trend line liquidity, right? This is a trend line liquidity. Equal lows. Like I said, they mustn't be as neat as that, but when you see them, you will tell equal lows at that point, stops or that line at this point, and you could see how price cleared them. Price cleared them. Price cleared everything, right? And bought from this POI. Okay, there was a valid demand zone at this point for price to buy up from, right? And price bought from there, and yeah, price bought from there and immediately went to the upside, right? Price gave an impulsive move. This is a retracement. This is an impulsive move for an uptrend market. Yeah, so price went up, right? So let's continue with this. If you are trying to see this and capitalize on this, right? Let me get some things erased. Right, this is actually, I normally target 1:5, so please don't kill yourself trying to catch every, right? You can just keep your TP at this point, yeah, or you target your 1:5 where you know you don't have to, and give space for stop loss, yeah, target 1:5 or 1:5, or you can choose to, target the top, but remember, keep space for stop loss, and this is it for it, 1:5, exactly like this, right? So price even broke structure at this point before selling down. This is a nice trade, yeah, a nice one, and 1:5 is bagged. 1:5 is back. Let's look for more example. This is one examples here on trendline liquidity. Let's look for more. Okay, what do I call this? Poor networking loading or what? Let's look for more example. This one was one, but this one didn't hold, right? This was actually one. Well, the sell wasn't that nice. Let me go to 3 minutes time frame and see something better. Okay. Let's look for more examples on trend line liquidity and everything I've just said at this moment. So my network and connecting is super 15 minutes time frame enter. Okay, we have one here. We have one here. We have one here. Look at price gave a BMS, right? Price gave a BMS. And this is a change of character, but price gave a PMS, another break, right? In the process of breaking all these highs, price broke this one together. Price gave a change of direction, a change of character at this point, right? A reversal pattern just to sell from this point. This is your liquidity lying there. This is your liquidity. Oh my God, bad network. This is your liquidity, equal lows lying here, equal lows, right? Equal highs, sorry, equal highs, yeah. Just give a bad mistake here. Equal highs, right? Then this is your BMS, price BMS, BMS, right? So let me clone that. Clone. Cancel this shit. Yo. That is your BMS and same as this, right? So when you see them, you can't see them. So let's see. Clone. Yeah. So and price gave a break of structure at this point. Price was breaking lows. And this price provided you the liquidity. And you had seen that if you are trying to sell from this point, these are equal lows. If you are trying to sell from this point, price will clear you out impulsively, like, and you'll be like, my trade keeps hitting SL, but because you don't understand liquidity levels in the charts, that is why your trade is hitting SLs, right? You don't understand liquidity levels, and you'll be taking stop losses every time. Then maybe, okay, as this one hit SL, your second POI may be this one. You just be guessing in the market, guessing badly in the market, and you won't even try to know why all these things are happening to you. All you will be doing is, trying to get another trade like that. And you know what we end up? You keep having SLs, right? Until you then have to understand liquidity, know what liquidity is all about in the market. And look at these two scenarios now. Remember, in the markets, everyone can do the same thing, right? That is why for a volatile market, or should I say for a liquid market, right? We have people that will be making loss and others will be winning, and people that will be winning, others will be losing. And those things makes the market to be liquid, right? Gives the market a nice volatility. Okay, where is that shit? Come back here. Yeah, so makes the market volatile to move freely, right? And now you could have seen the two scenarios here. Here you have your equal lows, and anyone who had tried to take trade from this point will get taken out. And if you had managed to try again from this point, you get taken out. It's not because your POI is not wrong. Yeah, this is a valid supply zone. It's broke structure, right? But yet, that is not a confirmation entry for you to enter a trade. Not because something broke structure, you want to sell from there and go like that, right? For you to confirm your sell trade, you need to add some confluences, like 2 or 3 more confluences, right? Considering liquidity levels, break or market structure, where are you trying to sell at, right? Where are you trying to sell at? Are you trying to sell at a demand zone, or do I, if I would have loved to say discount and premium, but discount and premium levels, but I'm not going into any advanced sheets here. So are you trying to sell at a demand zone, price demand zone, or supply zone? You ask yourself those questions, consider where you're selling at, right? Just like the scenarios here. But now, since you understood liquidity, what do? You mark out your trend line and you see that these are equal highs. These are equal highs lying here, equal highs, right? Equal highs, equal highs. All these things are equal, right? They are trend line liquidity, right? In a trend touching same trend line. They are not touching, but you could tell that you don't need the perfect structure to understand. Don't expect stuff like this. I know I'm doing all these things to look. Don't expect stuff like this. Don't expect stuff like this to touch because his trend line liquidity wants to touch every trend line like this. No, you are not looking for a perfect touch. You are trying to understand what scenario you are at the market, right? So now you could see that anyone that took trade at these 2 points gets taken out. And now what do you look at? You look at where the BMS starting from, right? You had a little change of character at this point. A little change of character at this point. Price swept liquidity. And even at this point, there were sellers here. People who tried to sell early, price took them out. Let me zoom out. Price took out early sellers at this point with this week, right? Price cleared at every high and low. Liquidity is lying there. I forgot to tell you the guys that at every high and low, you see this thing, at every high and low, liquidity resides in all of them, right? At this point in the market, there is liquidity here, there is liquidity here, there is liquidity here, there is liquidity at every point. Yeah, right. So the liquidity is lying everywhere here. So now, with that being said, price took out early sellers here, right? Swept them, B is a stop once, then broke structure to the downside, right? To the downside. This is a minor a change of character. Now we had the major one at this point, right? Cleared here and here, right? And now this is your POI to sell if you're trying to sell the market, right? You don't sell from here saying that liquidity is being formed, right? You sell from this POI here and sell down, right? And remember, target something realistic. Don't because you know that, okay, well, you can't tell what happens in the market, so you should be very, very mindful of the kind of target 1:5. Exactly. This sweet, this is how sweet it is, right? Yeah. How sweet it can be when you understand what the market's trying to tell you. It seems I've said too much here. And this is a free video. Yeah, Crypto Digest, right? Newly founded that. So this is a free content. And I made Telegram channel a free channel where people can learn. I'll be dropping educational content there. Yeah. Though the Discord is up, the Discord is on, but not yet running. The Discord will be premium, but the Telegram is free. Yeah, and the Telegram is one available at this point. When the Discord goes live, the Discord will be a paid service, while the Telegram will still remain free. But access of information won't be the same. Regarding that one will be paid and this one will be free. Yeah, so let's continue. I just jumped into another thing. Yeah, let's continue. Things are getting interesting. But if you have seen the scenario here, if liquidity haven't had formed, this price has been holding here. But regarding as price made liquidity, you don't try to sell at those POI. Yeah, these are sweet teas. So let's look for more POIs, more sectors like that. La la la. crazy, crazy. Pa, 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 pa. Pam, 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 pam. I've taken that level, but this level is quite stupid. Yeah, let's look at 5 minutes time frame, and I need something that won't stress us to see. Something that once you open your chart, boom, you've seen it. You've seen it. You can. It's everywhere in every chart. Everywhere in every chart. Everywhere in every fucking chart you open, you will see the same thing there. Everywhere in any chart. This is another one, but not that obvious, and it's quite a risky trade. So I won't mind to explain it. Liquidity was lying at this point. You see this point. See this point. Like a liquidity was lying there, but I wouldn't have explained this because even here got taken out, right? Price, okay, and you see here got taken out. So and we are actually in a downtrend. In a downtrend, it's best for you to look for a short trade because any long you are catching or any long you are trading the retracement. You are not trading. Your target should be to find entry in the retracement, something around there. Find entry. This is the retracement, right? Your target will be to find entry in the retracements and sell at the impulsive move, right? And in an uptrend, you do the opposite. You find entry in the retracements and target the impulsive move. So trying to sell at this region, trying to buy at this region is quite risky because you are just trying to buy the retracements. Remember, you can counter trade, but this is a nice tip I'm dropping here for you. Okay, network has been doing its thing, fully loading the charts. Let's have some fun while we wait. Let's have fun, some fun. So nice doing this with you all. Yeah. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin charts because Bitcoin should be the first itself that I should be using to explain all of this. BTC USDP. Yeah, Bitcoin charts. Yeah, this is the trade I made today. Actually, an interesting. The fuck, the market is dumping. Wow, sexy. Okay, let's look at something here. This was the trade I took today. Let me explain something here to you, and it's had a little of that quality, right? Look at this point now. This is advanced, so it might get you a little bit confused. But liquidity was there. Price swept liquidity. I didn't want to mark it like this. You see this thing? This is liquidity, right? Price swept the liquidity equal highs, peaked from 5 minutes FVG, and price bought to the upside. And I looked for a minor time frame entry and I targeted the TP. And you may ask, why didn't I sell from here? Yeah, I won't discuss that right now. But this liquidity was for a buy order. You can easily spot them. This liquidity wasn't to sell. Liquidity was to target your buy TP, right? So you don't try to sell at this liquidity. I'll be keeping my reason to myself. Yeah, let's look for more of that. Let me keep this back. Let's look for more of liquidity. The market is dumping, so sexy, sweet, nice. So more of this in the chat could be fun. Price, liquidity level. These days, the market has been very, very nice. Nice to everyone. Okay, this is another one. Another one. You see, these are both equal highs. They are tiny ones, tiny highs, right? Tiny highs that broke structure. Price BMS, broke structure, price BMS. Like minor, this is substructure. If I'm not mistaken, by anything. Right, so this is a liquidity zone. That's simple. Price mitigated from here and sold. So you do your thing. as someone that is here for the long term, you target 1:5 and boom. Or even you can use the TP targets in the screen to make your targets, right? Let's say if price actually even fell more. If you are to target this now, maybe use it to make your target this low. Use this low here to make your TP targets. You don't have to start looking for one issue. Okay, let's say use it to make your TP targets and sweet. You've gotten it. And price bounced off immediately. Yeah, this is how sweet it is. Let's look for buy liquidity levels in the chart. Buy. We've been in a downtrend for long, so saying buy will not be that obvious, yeah. But we can see, but there is a little one here, but me, I'll consider this trade a risky entry, right? So I won't bother trying to explain that. A very risky entry. So we've been on a serious downtrend. So all the structures you're likely to see now will be short trade, unless I start going back to when price is bullish to show you some trade orders. You know that you cannot see long this thing. Obviously you can't, because the fuck we trade long setups here. Alright, so let an example. I believe price. Okay, I won't be going with this. I need a clean example here. Draw on liquidity. Yeah, let's keep scrolling. Let me get everything. Let's keep scrolling. Equal highs and lows, equal highs and lows. Trendline liquidity. Don't forget, so you can try to backtest all of these things. And yeah, very what it's 100% what it. So you take note of your liquidity levels in the chart. Right, so okay, I'll be just be doing some few scrolling. If I don't see some few scrolling, so if I don't see, I won't have to bother myself anymore. Yeah, okay, this is one here. Price liquidity, equal lows, equal lows. Liquidity was lying down here. Equal lows at this point, right? Equal lows, and this is your demand zone for a buy. And you know that price bought the market bought from there and went up to the upside. Yeah, and price cleared liquidity with this week and moved to the upside. We had some range before price moved to the upside, and your target should be this high, probably that high. Yeah, give some space for the SL, right? And this is it. You're killing the market. We know it's ETP more. Yeah, so 1:4. Yeah, it's cool like that. Yeah, you're making waves. Let's look at more of that. Okay, since I'll be stopping here. Yeah. So lastly, and choose to backtest all of these things, liquidity levels in your chart, and make do with them. Yeah. So once again, I am Investor Ben. Yeah. Newly founded Crypto Digest, right? Crypto Digest, where I believe you'll be getting this video from the Telegram channel, Crypto Digest, right? Yeah, so Crypto Digest is the love of my life. So quite funny. Yeah, so this is it. The color is so weird, but we're keeping it anyway. Yeah, Crypto Digest. So a crypto community based on helping individuals get their way into cryptocurrency. Crypto Digest is not okay. I won't be doing that explanation here, but it's not based on technical analysis alone. Just like the name goes, crypto majorly things that has to do with cryptocurrency, and they digest trying to understand them, digesting something that you've eaten. Yeah, it's quite amazing getting that name. Yeah, the name was a dead as one. Yeah, so nice, nice. So I'll be stopping the video here on liquidity. So yeah, I did real well to break things down for you guys. So the market is nooking and we're nooking together on a sweet trade out here. Okay, guys, I'm ending this section. Take care. Bye.